Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network channel on YouTube. I'm your host, Mr. Prime Real Estate, Ric Davis.
And I'm your host, the Texas Real Estate King, LarryWBrooks.
Every week, the King and I will provide you exclusive access to our network of lenders, investors, and real estate professionals from both the commercial and residential real estate sectors.
Now, are you millionaire minded? Or maybe you're a millionaire in the making. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get connected to the network. And always remember, the Prime Real Estate Network, where millionaires are in the making.
Create wealth for generations.
What's up, Prime Real Estate Network listeners? It's your man, LarryWBrooks, a.k.a. the Texas Real Estate King. Hey, when you get a moment, go ahead and go over to shoplwb.com. You can see the Pure Hustle merchandise that we have over there, some of our newer items that we have in stock, and of course, I got all the books that I've authored. I'd love for your support. You have a great day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network Live. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, I invite you to reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. We have a really exciting show for you all lined up this week, man. I want to give a huge shout out, first of all, to everybody that's checking out our live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Look, get involved in today's interview. You can ask myself or this week's interviewee a relevant real estate question in the comments section, and you never know, we may be able to get your question answered on today's episode of the Prime Real Estate Network Live. I want to give a huge shout out to the entire team over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm over at 2600 South Loop West, Suite 310 here in Houston, Texas. Give a huge shout out to everybody over at the Prime Real Estate Network. Our super producer, Jay Joseph, is behind the scenes bringing this show to you every week, and I want to give her a huge thank you shout out. Man, I want to give one final shout out to the Texas Real Estate King. He is away today, but I am excited to announce, to let everyone know, the Texas Real Estate King is working with the Stephen F. Austin State University Alumni Association, because today is the day. You see, I got my purple on. If you're in the city of Houston and you're an SFA Lumberjack or University of Houston Cougar, meet us this evening at 7 o'clock, because the SFA Fighting Lumberjacks will be playing the University of Houston Cougars tonight in a college football game over at TDECU Stadium. The Texas Real Estate King is over there helping out with the SFA alumni group. I'll be over there for the tailgate. So if you're in the city, if you're driving in, come out. You can hang out with myself and Mr. Larry W. Brooks over at the Stephen F. Austin State University alumni tailgate today, starting at 4 p.m. So huge shout out to him. Back to today's show. As you know, if you watch us every week, the Texas Real Estate King and myself have talked about on this platform how the market has shifted in the city of Houston and all over the United States, where currently, if you are in the property acquisition business, or you're a first-time buyer, or you're a first-time investor, the time is now to take advantage of all the generous incentives and the motivated sellers that are out there in today's real estate market. And today, I will be interviewing one of Houston's foremost lending experts. So if you're in that market, or you are in the market to meet a knowledgeable, experienced home lender, today's episode is for you. So like, subscribe, share the Prime Real Estate Network Live. And without any further ado, I'd like to introduce this week's guest. This fine gentleman is not only an educator, he's a mentor. He has been a trusted colleague and collaborator with not only teams of realtors over at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, but all over the city of Houston. I want to thank him so much for spending some time with us to be interviewed on this week's show. I'd like to introduce to the audience the loan expert from Epic Mortgage. I'd like to introduce Mr. Brandon Huynh. How are you doing, Brandon? Think we're having some technical issues behind the scene. We'll be bringing Brandon on shortly. But in the meantime, I want to take some time to talk about the real estate market in general, what's been going on here in the city of Houston, and what we've been seeing around the state of Texas. So currently, man, there's been some great movement, great activity as far as the new home sales sector. There are still really nice homes available, plenty great opportunities with really valuable incentives, closing costs getting taken care of, move-in packages including full appliances, refrigerators, washers and dryers. So those are the things that are all now available here in the city of Houston, all over Harris County and the surrounding areas. And if you were interested in learning more, reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. As you all can see, this show is going to be really focused on getting to know not only the home lender that we'll be interviewing, but also getting a lot of background information about what's going on as far as the world of mortgages, home loans, and refinancing loans. So please stick with us as we work out the technical things that we have going on backstage, but we are really excited about today's show. How you doing, Brandon? It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having
Live
me.
in
And
the
we got
building. How you doing?
Yes,
Hey,
sir. Thank
look.
you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure, Brandon. Thank you so much. As everyone in the audience can see, we have now been joined by the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, wearing his purple SFA alumni shirt.
It's one of those days.
Before I brought you on stage, Larry, I made sure I gave you a shout out because you've been doing a lot of work with the Alumni Association, helping to get the tailgate and everything set up. So I want to thank you in advance for that. Brandon, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out your Thursday to sit in with us. Larry and I always tell the joke that we have our interview show on the busiest day of the week for most real estate professionals and lenders. So thank you so much on a Thursday. So first things first, Brandon, could you introduce not only yourself to the audience, but talk a little bit about Epic Mortgage and where you see yourself fitting in the lending market currently?
Yes, sir. Yeah. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys for having me on this show. You know, I've worked with several of your team members, and they've been always a pleasure to work with. And I heard you spoke about Cougs. You know, I'm from UH, so unfortunately, there's a little bit of a rivalry there, but it's all love. It's all love at the end of the day. But yeah,
absolutely.
A mortgage broker for a little bit over a year now. And before that, I've always held sales experience. It's always been, you know, within that entrepreneurial mindset and, you know, try to become a serial entrepreneur and just be versatile, a jack of all trades of sorts. In terms of Epic Mortgage Agency, we're rising within the Houston market. We're continuously finding ways to be creative and have those different solutions and opportunities that, you know, first-time home buyers, you know, returning home buyers, they may not be aware of. And we pride ourselves on our versatility and our ability to get the deal done.
Now, let's talk about that first, Brandon, because one of the things that Larry and I are most proud of is that we wanted to be on the forefront of letting our audience know when the market has started to shift. Early in the year, early 2025, first quarter, Larry and myself made it. We were intentional about letting our audience know that not only had the market shifted, but it was time now that if you were renting and looking to buy, let's get involved. If you were currently in your home, but felt like it was time to look into refinancing options, we wanted to start looking into those things. So from that standpoint, how have you all over at Epic, Brandon, been able to help those first-time buyers? And what type of products have you seen them taking advantage of?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first and foremost, we always want to kind of get a general scope of how the buyer plans to operate, you know, whether it's investing or being a first-time home buyer, first-time investor. We just want to gain a better understanding of what's going on. And as you know, the current market in Houston, there's a abundance of inventory. So if we can align their needs with the solution and pairing them with a home that they fall in love in, you know, maybe the current financial market may not be pleasing to the eye, but we can definitely set them up in ways where they'll benefit in the long run, as opposed to just simply looking at that cost per month. So just setting it up and aligning them with that. As I come from a sales background, problem solving is huge, especially within our industry. So just aligning that with the buyer and the clients is always, provides them with a fantastic experience overall.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing a little bit, not only the knowledge, but a little bit about your background. And Larry has a sales background at his core. I've had a sales background at my core. And there are so many members of our audience who are currently studying to be realtors, who may be in real estate school, who may be newly licensed. Could you talk about how your sales background helped to benefit not only the transition into lending, but have allowed you to get your feet on the ground and actually get your career started and put in fast forward a lot sooner than people with your experience level?
Yeah, so with my sales experience, it's all about trial and error. As you know, coming into the sales industry, you have to kind of get a feel of your personality and how you work well with your clients. And based on my sales techniques, I like to build rapport, build that trust with the client. And that allows for the transaction and the process to be 100% smoother and more efficient overall. Because when you instill trust with the client, that's when they're going to be more open, more honest with you. So that's a big important factor for me, is just being able to get to know the client. Like I said, building that rapport, and then kind of dive deeper into what they need, and then you can be better solution for them and pairing them with what they actually need. When sometimes a lot of times they don't know what they actually need until they are open and more upfront in what the situation, the scenario that they're in. So that has kind of elevated me past where I'm at in terms of tenure, but my experience and my sales background allows me to kind of bolster my business overall. So that's been a real important help for me. So that's something that I'll tell people who are getting into the industry: get to know your clients, build that relationship, because you don't want to be just a one-stop. You want to be a versatile. You want to have that multiple points of contact, because there may be referral opportunities in the long run that you may never know about unless you ask for it, unless you build that connection. So that's one of the biggest important things for me.
And what excites you, Brandon? Because one of the things is I love your social media, your Instagram page, man. You are active on that thing. You drop gems on that thing. And one of the things that I always, because we do have a lot of sales professionals as well as consumers that tune into the podcast. But what excites you when it comes to marketing and branding of your business right now, currently? Like, is it the things that you're putting on Instagram, and are you finding value in those things right now?
Yeah, it's just showing face. At the end of the day, I'm not sure the exact statistic, but it's the client wants to see your face at least 10 times before they want to make a decision to move forward with you.
Wow.
So they want to make sure if you can drill it into their head that, hey, I'm selling this, or hey, like in my example, hey, if the client can be known that, hey, Brandon does loans, I see his videos all the time, the first thing they're going to come think about when it comes to loans is, hey, let me ask Brandon this question. And then I can present myself in a situation where I can provide more value than what's expected. And, at the end of the day, they get more information than what they were expecting. And then you end up becoming the go-to. So just utilizing social media, like you said, Instagram, Facebook, just as many platforms as you can to get your face in front of as many faces as you can.
That makes sense. Yep.
Brandon, the great thing about having you on the show is not only are you a loan professional, but you're active on social media and you're active in your social circle. So your friends, the people that you hang out with on Sundays and Saturdays and for football games, the people who know you off the clock, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
What type of real estate questions, lending questions do they ask you casually? Because one of the things that Larry and I always talk to about the members of our team is being able to meet clients or potential clients where they are. Having a feel for where they want to live, what type of products. So in your social circle, are are you seeing that people are gravitating more towards a condo type of setup, or do they want townhomes, or traditional homes still the thing? What are you seeing amongst your friends and family?
Yeah, that's a great question. So within my circle, I'm 24, and a lot of my friends and the people I hang out with are around the same age. So they're transitioning into that first-time home buyer, first-time renter, getting their big boy purchases, and first time, make sure they get a place in themselves. So they're really excited. So you typically get the same first-time home buyer questions. How much should I put down? What's the interest? What's the market like right now? What do you advise? So just for me, it's about being an open book, as we spoke about earlier, just being an open book, being open and ready to answer all questions. And when it comes to that, I always rather work a deal where it's hard to reach a solution than having a close and shut deal. Because when you have a file that needs a lot of nurturing and a lot of work, it just brings the compassion and shows you that you are caring, wanting to care for the client. And that's a really big important thing for me. So just allowing them to know that I'm open for all and any questions. And if you need me, I'm a phone call, text away. Phone line rings 24/7, up at night, I'm always answering. So any time of the day, I'm ready to answer and help out.
Brandon, man, that is the beauty of being youthful on this side of the business. Let me tell you something.
No, I hear that.
You have got to want, especially when you're on the mortgage side, the financing side of a purchase like this, right? Because the thing is we're helping people purchase one of the largest investments they'll ever make in their life, And so when doing that, being able to be reachable and touchable and communicating is everything in it. Because if our lender is not answering the phone, the very next phone call is going to be on top of that realtor, on top of them. So, I commend you on knowing that you had to dedicate yourself to being able to answer those tough questions. And even when you're working with someone and it looks like it's a dead end, and you realize that, hey, we've done everything we could, being able to give them a soft landing, saying, hey, let's try this again in 6 months. Those things are so much more important than, dragging out a process that may not be able to get to the finish line in a timely manner. So I commend you on just, being persistent and consistent when it comes to picking up that phone and having those tough talks or those amazing talks where it's like, look, we got this clear to close. Let's go. So,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, anybody can have that easy conversation, but the real bosses, they're comfortable in having those hard conversations. So that's why I try to focus my conversations around as well. So
no, Brandon, one of the things you mentioned, and Larry, I love this, is that you mentioned that you're 24, you're a lender, you're licensed, you're a lending professional. So there's a lot of responsibilities that come along with not just the title, but the license and a lot of expectations. And Larry, I love this because think about, Larry, when we were 24, the things that you would do to make sure everybody knew that you were a realtor. Right. And sometimes when you're that age, Brandon, and you're with your social circle, you may feel like, oh, am I being too pushy? Am I being too forward? So could you just tell the new agents that are watching our show, the newly licensed agents, some of the things that you've done that everybody who around you know that you're a lender? Because I know sometimes, especially when you're not in that environment, you got to find creative ways to get the brand out there.
Exactly. I mean, for me personally, it's just straightforward, and it's all about self-talk for me. Like, it's all about self-talk at the end of the day. You can worry that you have in your mind about what people are going to think, that only lasts a few minutes.
That's right.
At the end of the day, you let them know who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And they might feel some type of way, but that feeling only lasts a couple of minutes. 5 minutes after that, they're completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
So just instill that in your mind. Like, at the end of the day, who cares?
Yeah.
Right? Who cares what someone thinks? Right?
You 100% right.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
like what you're saying, Brandon. I always think about, I remember sitting in and listening to a speaker one time, and he pointed out Coca-Cola. He say, everyone doesn't love Coca-Cola, but Coca-Cola doesn't care. They're going to roll that out in front of you as often as they want to. You can switch the channels, you can do whatever you want to, but they're not going to get off of their branding because they're attempting to hit someone. Or, maybe I'm landing on your ears, or even in my friend circles, maybe I'm landing at a moment that you don't need me. But when you do need me, you're not going to be able to say, I didn't know. or I didn't know that you was this smart at it, or that you took it this serious. No, you're gonna know that I every day wake up, eat this, drink this, and think about my business. So definitely continue to brand the way that you have been doing. You're right.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, as bad as it sounds, everybody really cares for themselves. When they lay down at night, they're not thinking about, oh, he just told me he's a realtor. Then they're not in their thoughts about that or anything like that. So I just tell myself, hey, just put it out there. And I tend to post and forget. I try not to watch anything I repost unless it's some type of engagement or comment on there. Right. But just post and forget. And I found many leads and found many success through that way. So if you're up and coming and wanting to dive into that realm, then it's 100% worth it to do so.
That's right.
Brandon, the title of this episode is Get to Know Your Lender. So with that being the case, could you share with our audience something that you like to do in your spare time that has nothing to do with work, nothing to do with lending? What interests you? Do you have a favorite team that you follow? Like, what does Mr. Brandon Huynh do when he's unplugged and off the clock?
Man, I can go on forever, but my main thing is business and basketball. Yeah. So if I can wake up every day and see my bank account healthy and wake up and just play basketball, that's all I'm for. So outside of work within the lending side, I'm always looking to see how can I, stick my hand in this pot and try to make money this way, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's reselling shoes or memorabilia like Pokemon cards, sports cards, all of that. I tend to go to the gym quite a bit, but I play basketball like 3-4 times a week.
To be young, Larry. To be young.
My knees and Achilles ain't gonna allow me to do it like that. Not 3 times, but
I feel you. I'm already preparing. I'm making sure I stretch 15 minutes before the session. Stretch every time.
But you need those things. You definitely need those things to decompress when you're a consumer-based business, right? So you definitely got to continue to always keep those things in your wheelhouse. Because here's what we know. When you take that jump and you hit and everybody say time out, you checking your phone to see if there's anything that took place, right?
No, for sure.
We're never not doing business. It's just one of those things, especially at 24, man. I remember being 24, walking down the Vegas Strip. Now, this was before we had everything on our phone. I used to have to pack a backpack with all my files in it just in case somebody called to have a question. Now, we've been blessed through technology now to have everything on a device, but I remember the days that we didn't have those devices, and man, look, I had to be ready to flip through and answer questions at it.
No, for sure. So, that smartwatch come in clutch. You on the shirt? Ding! Oh, hold on, time out real quick.
What makes that so funny, Brandon, is because I go back to when me and my friends used to play rec basketball 2-3 times a week, and you do silly things like slightly roll your ankle, but everybody gonna be shooting tomorrow. So you try to wrap your own ankle up with tape before you go to the gym. Nonsense, that makes no sense. But when you in that spirit and the friendship is there and it's consistent people and it's good people and good runs, I can understand why that could be something that you look forward to, especially on a weekly basis.
Yeah, it's a forced way of marketing as well, because you build a connection on the court. There's the best connections happen on the court in the field. That's where the brotherhood forms. So if you can build that camaraderie with the people that you hoop with or you work out with, there's you never know what opportunities may arise for that. So that's why I always take my opportunities when it's given. So,
okay, Brent, let me ask you, what is one of your favorite loan products right now? Like if someone reached out to you and they're like, everything is lining up for the way that their finances are. What is one of your favorite loan products that you're shopping or that you're putting in front of people right now?
So with my kind of clientele, my pipeline is full of 1099 employees.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So with 1099 employees, you tend to have a lot of write-offs.
That's right.
A lot of business owners, they want to minimize the amount they pay in taxes. So one of my favorite programs that I introduced to them is the bank statement program.
Okay.
Yeah, 12-month bank statements to verify your income. No 1099, no W-2. All you need is that 12-month bank statement program, and you're set to get with the financing. That's probably the easiest way to get financing if you're a 1099 business owner, employee, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you're employed and you receive 1099, you're still considered a business owner. So you still fall under that umbrella. So just having that option for a lot of my clients and that they're not aware of just gives you a euphoric type of feeling that gives them an idea that, hey, maybe this can be done. Hey, let me move forward with this. I've been on the rope about it. Maybe this program is something that, brings me over the fence and finally become a homeowner as opposed to renting. Because that's something a lot of people don't realize is there's so many ways to receive financing. And, you just have to be in front of them to provide them with that opportunity and that option for them to understand.
Yeah. So Brandon, when it comes to your, because we're always learning in this business. And so do you have a trusted source that you go to in order to grab, like when the interest rates are going to go down, or something that you view or you check out in your business that allows you to be like, okay, here's what today's market may look like. What are some of your thoughts, or what are some of the maybe sites that you actually take a look at in order to always keep steady and keep your wisdom up when it comes to this?
Yeah, I'm a natural economist, so I'm always looking up on news and looking up headlines and just to stay informed. That's not just on the financial side, but that's just throughout the world. You want to know what's going on around you. So just naturally being intrigued in that information is a step in the right direction. But also I have a different lender tools that I have capabilities to that gives me market updates every couple hours. They keep me updated with the most up-to-date news, with whether it's the Fed meeting or any stock prices or any bonds, anything like that. So just wanting to be informed is something that I pride myself in doing. I make sure that, I stay informed for the best for me and also my clients as well.
Brendan, with that being so, because you mentioned the Fed, and I know recently everyone's pushing to think that they're going to be dropping, or there's a good strong possibility that they'll probably drop in interest rates a few points here in September. Do you think that that's prime time for refinancing? Because we know a lot of people may have purchased, or maybe it's another time to dive deep when it comes to purchase. What is your thought on when you hear the Fed say we're going to drop interest rates? When you receive that, what is it? How does that feel coming from when the lender hears that?
Well, from when I hear it, it's really hit or miss, right? Because we've been hearing that for the last year, since the new inauguration. We always hear, prices are going to be cut down, rates are going to be cut, but it's really impossible to time the market because things are always changing, things are always moving. So when I hear that, I kind of position myself like, hey, if you get the home now and the rates do end up getting cut, there's going to be millions and influx of buyers, and you're going to be able to price out on that home. So you're going to be competing with 5 to 10 to 15 different offers on the home. You got to make sure that you secure the home that you actually want, as opposed to getting priced out and end up settling, because no one wants to settle at the end of the day. So when I hear news like that, I just want to kind of reiterate that to them. It's best not to wait. If you have the financial capability for it and you find a home that you love, always try to position yourself to secure it instead of waiting, because then you'll get priced out with all the other competitors. Now, in terms of buying versus refinancing, there's always opportunities, and you can kind of pick and choose where you put yourself in. There's still refinancing opportunities. Now, several lenders are offering many different incentives where you're getting up to 90 basis points off your refinance as well. So, there's always opportunities out there. You just got to have the right network and the right resources to ask and, kind of dig around and do the deeper research.
No, that's outstanding, man. I want to thank you again because, like I mentioned earlier, I know how it is on Thursdays. But Brandon, for the members of our audience that would like to tap in, follow you online, or schedule an opportunity to talk to you about their lending needs, could you share your contact information? And will you be making any personal appearances for anyone who may want to meet and greet you in person?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm an open book. I'm ready and always ready to answer any questions that you may have. My Instagram is funded by Brando, same as TikTok as well. And you can search up my name on Facebook or any platform that you may have. I'm always on any platform ready to converse, and always ready to have a conversation, an open and honest conversation, right? In terms of my personal appearances, my branch, Epic Mortgage Agency, we are always expanding. We have our office on Bel Air and Corporate, so feel free to drop in by that big 6100 Bel Air Boulevard, Corporate Drive, 6100 Corporate Drive. We're always open and willing to accept any walk-ins or anything like that to build, like I said, build that relationship and build that rapport. We're always happy to answer. So, yeah.
No, thank you so much, man. Wish you nothing but success in business. I look forward. Stay tapped in with Larry and myself. If you have anything, if Epic's doing anything, we would love to be able to get that information out to our audience. I want to wish the University of Houston Cougars football team a great season every week except for tonight. I want to thank you so much, Brandon, man.
It's all love. Whatever happens.
Hey, look, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure, Brandon, man. So please, thank you so much, sir, and I'll talk to you soon.
Have a good one, Brandon. Thank you.
Absolutely. See, Larry.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody in the online community or anywhere on the internet say that Larry and myself are not classy competitors. Because we could actually have a U of H Cougar on the show prior to the big game tonight and have a worthwhile and fruitful conversation.
Very fruitful.
I'm proud of me and you, brother. I'm proud of you.
Very fruitful. 100%.
Okay, now we got that out the way. Let's get down to the heavy lifting for tonight. How do you feel? Are you excited about tonight's game? Are you excited about the tailgate? As a SFA Lumberjack football alumnus?
Yeah.
How do you feel on the eve of a season opener?
100%, man. Well, I want to first just, give kudos and shout out again to Brando for jumping on, for Brandon for jumping on with us. Amazing episode. I'm excited. I want to tell realtors out there, definitely he is a great guy to partner up with. He's done a lot with, 5-Star Team, which is one of the teams within the Brooks and Davis brand. So you definitely want to have a mortgage person that you can go out, you can look up, and you can see that he's doing a major business. He's doing major business. And so me seeing him with one of our really, really strong award-winning teams in the office is what made me reach out to him to get him on the platform. So shout out, and again, thank you so much, Brandon, for tapping in with us. So definitely go out, audience. Now, let me talk about these Jacks, baby. Listen, this is a championship ring. I need y'all to see that right there. You know what I'm saying? That was back in my youth when I was on the field, giving them my movement. So with that being said, man, I'm excited about what the Jacks are doing. I'm loving the program, man. All the new things that we got going on. So this is a good time for us to be on the field. It's a Thursday night game. Everyone's going to be focused on what's going on because we're playing against a, U of H is they're not slaps, right? They just redid their facilities. They've been all over social media posting about their facilities and how beautiful it is. But they got the Jacks in the city, baby. We're in the city. We're feeling good about what we got going on. We're finna tailgate big. We're sponsoring the tailgate. So if you're a Jack, get on out there, man. We're gonna have some free adult beverages, free barbecue. Come on out, man. The alumni is really showing up and showing out for Jacks.
Hey, look, man, if you a coach on the team, if you're a player on the team, I know on the paper, it lists us as the visitors. But you'll see tonight that SFA in H-Town, it's like a home away from home. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of alumni support out there at the stadium. I think all the players and the coaches are going to be pleasantly surprised about how much purple comes to representing the city of Houston. So all of the opportunities that we used to have back in the day to come compete in the H-Town, when we wore purple, it was a bigger event because we was from here. I know there's Houstonians on the team. There's dudes on the team with family, grandmas, uncles, daddies, mamas in the crowd tonight. So let's put all that on our shoulders and turn Clutch City into Upset City and get on Sports Center, baby. We get on Sports Center tonight.
On that Sports Center, baby. No doubt about it.
Sports Center. So look, I know you're going to get out to the tailgate, Mr. Brooks, man. We're going to get the fam out there to represent. So on behalf of myself, Ric Davis, and the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, huge shout out to Mr. Brandon Huynh for sitting in with us this week. Sure. I want to thank everybody at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, everybody behind the scenes at the Prime Real Estate Network. Yeah. And until next Thursday, after we pull off this upset dub, everybody in the audience, please be safe.
Yeah.
Jacks up, baby. Jacks up.